hopefully teaching tips quickfire Q&A. We did one yesterday with hopefully lots of cool questions and answers. Some really great people on as well yesterday asking great questions. It's cool. Thank you. So today I'm going to do a few more teaching questions, mainly because YouTube's asking me to do lots of YouTube lives vertically like this. But we shall we go. I used to usually do them on Facebook, but Facebook's decided to delete them all. So there we go. So anyway, questions for teaching English. So I'm Richard from GenkiEnglish. You see there. So I made the GenkiEnglish program, which is used by like thousands of schools around the world to make teaching and learning super fun. So it's not like most adults hate English because it's too boring. We make it super energetic and fun and genki with really simple lesson plans and stuff. But anyway, so if you're watching live, thank you. Put questions questions in the comments. I'll try and answer them. Tell me if I'm speaking too fast, because yesterday apparently I was. And I'll go through some of the quickfire questions we've got here. So, blimey, these are actually quite complicated questions. Okay, so first question. Do you always finish a lesson with a game? Usually in the lesson plan, it's warm-up, review, input with the song, and then output with a game. So it sort of looks like it's a game at the end, but the last few minutes are usually just a quick review. I used to, when I was teaching myself, I will always just review the song at the end of each lesson as well. So the GenkiEnglish songs are just 1 minute, yeah? So you could just review the whole vocab, the whole language, just quickly at the end of the lesson in 1 minute. So that's what I used to do. But a lot of teachers sort of found that in a 45-minute lesson, they didn't have enough time for that. So it's not in the official lesson plan. But yeah, sort of finish, but you've got to finish on a high note. I always think of a lesson plan like a James Bond movie, yeah? So in the beginning, it's like, da-da-da, whoa, 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 what's going on? Something cool and funky and moving around, whoa! But of course, if you do that for 45 minutes, you'll switch everybody off and you'll end up putting yourself in hospital. So you slow it back down, you start learning some new stuff, but then at the big thing at the beginning, then at the end, you want to end on a big high note. The idea is you want the students going home or going to the next lesson saying, that was the best lesson ever. So we want the big high note at the end. And if games can do that, it's cool. Or if you can play the GenkiEnglish song again, that's cool. It's all good. Good. Have you ever lost your voice from teaching? Yes, all the time. Don't do it. Learn from me. Don't copy what I do. Do what I say. It's the opposite of teaching, isn't it? But lots and lots of water. So yesterday I forgot my water. So if you drink lots of water in class, it really, really helps. And the main thing for protecting your voice is don't succumb to teacher's disease. Because especially English teachers, for some reason, I don't know. But English teachers tend to talk too much in class because they love talking. And the kids then don't talk that much. And then when the teacher talks too much, you're using your voice too much and it wears out your voice. And if you're doing that 10 hours a day, it's not very good. So ideally, remember, you want to have like 20% of the class as the teacher talking, and the rest of it is the students talking. That's why we have all the games and things, yeah? And if you do that, then you'll rest your voice and you'll be fine. There are a few other things you can do. If you look on the GenkiEnglish website, GenkiEnglish website, then there are vocal warm-ups you can do. Which like singers do, like Lady Gaga and things do, where you just go for about a minute or so. And that really relaxes your voice and things. But in general, if you lose your voice as well, it's because you're overexerting it. So speak less than 20% in class, drink lots of water before every class. Well, before every day. No, you don't have to do it every class, but certainly do it in the morning before your first class. And you should be cool with that. And then if you do lose your voice, I was once in a workshop we were doing in Tanzania, and we had the president came and see us, which was crazy. But before that, we had one of the top guys in the Ministry of Education, and I was due to go on in a couple of hours. But they said, no, you've got to go on now, and you've got to do something amazing, and make sure he goes, it's brilliant. So I'm like, I haven't got time to warm up or anything. I went straight in. We did this cool thing, and everybody went, wow, that's amazing. And then my voice completely died because I had like hundreds of people, and I had no microphone set up. So it absolutely killed it. So if you don't get a microphone set up, then ask get the right gear in place. As I lost my voice, and if you do lose your voice, the way to get it back is in Africa, they bought me a huge jug of honey, and I just had to eat that for the next couple of days. But luckily with GenkiEnglish, all the sounds, the words the kids learn all come from the software, and the songs as well really help with that. So if you do lose your voice, you can get away with it. Do you give kids homework with Genki English? Oh, that's a complicated question. If those of you watching, if you're interested in homework or not, let me know in the comments, because that's quite a long answer to that. There's a big debate at the minute between whether you should give kids homework or not. Most homework is ineffective. So most kids would be better off just learning in school for most subjects, because the homework is just too much for them, and it's not very good homework, especially if it's just writing and worksheets and stuff. Languages are a little bit different, because all the research shows that with languages, if you only have one lesson a week, that's not enough. You really need 5 minutes each day. So if you can give that 5 minutes each day as homework, that's great. What I used to do when I was teaching in primary schools was I used to get them, they had like a lunchtime broadcast system, and they would broadcast like skits and music and events and news and things like that when everyone was having lunch. And I'd get them to put that week's Genki English song into the broadcast each day. So then each day the kids were listening to the Genki English song, and they could review what they'd done in that lesson. Now, it took a bit of coordinating, because obviously the different classes are at different levels, but that's a great way to do it if you can do that 5 minutes a day. So yeah, and then of course now we've got the Genki English homework, where if you can flip the classroom, then you get even better results. But that's that's quite advanced stuff for advanced teachers, so maybe that's for another time, another topic. Actually, those of you watching now, are you teachers or students? Just let me know in the chat. And because yesterday it was a lot of students in, which was cool. To be honest, it's so much easier teaching students, because they just want to know and they ask great questions and stuff. Very often with teaching, it's unlearning what we've learned in order to be able to teach in a better way. Yeah. Good. Do you have kids' homework? Yeah, we do. Yeah, good. So, do you ever trip over during? Yeah, kids fall over during games and stuff. It's just part of the natural thing. Don't worry about it too much. Make sure your classrooms. It's a classroom. It should be safe anyway. It's fine. Have you ever taught more than 40 students? Yeah, I used to teach. I started with one student, as everybody did. I just had one student at a time, and then I went to normal classrooms at 30 students, and then we started putting them all together, and I taught 100 students, and I think my record is 1,400 students at once, just because when I was in a town only for one day, they wanted to put all the kids together and stuff. So yeah, you can do it. You just learn different skills. A lot of teachers say that's not possible. You know, they say, oh, no, well, you're saying we should teach 1,000 kids a day. It's like, no, but it is possible. You can do it, yeah? If you have to do it. It's not the ideal situation. And if you've got your own private classes, if you're a private teacher, you probably want to stick to about 6 to 8, and then just increase it by one student each year. So if you were teaching 8 kids in a group last year, do 10, and then do 12, and then do 14. Because what you find is the cool thing about increasing the number of kids in class is that it forces you to improve your teaching skills, especially if your discipline skills are not up to par. Like, for example, one of the biggest discipline techniques we use, and the most powerful one, is a thing called the agreement. And that means in the very first lesson, we talk to the kids in their native language if they don't speak English yet, and we agree what the rules of the classroom are going to be. What am I going to do? What are they going to do? Now, usually it boils down just to 2 quick rules, which for me are just respect everybody, and then tell me when you don't understand. Okay, and if you do that works out really well. Now, a lot of teachers don't do that, so then they get really stuck when they've got like 30 or 40 kids, because the kids don't know what's expected of them. Especially, like I had a teacher this morning, and she was talking about university level, and she was saying that the kids are just basically given up on it. Now, there's lots of different reasons why university kids could give up on learning English. They might be thinking that AI is coming in, so therefore they don't need to learn English. They might be thinking that English isn't counted as part of their final degree, therefore they don't have to do any work. And then very often it's also because the previous teacher is really boring, and they were expected to just sit down and just fill in worksheets and things like that, and not expected to talk. And then if your class, if their kids had a previous teacher who didn't expect them to talk, and then in your class you do expect them to talk and try hard and help each other out and cooperate and try again when they make mistakes, that's a lot of new expectations on the students. So it's really important you get that at the beginning of class. Okay, so the agreement there at the beginning is really, really important. And then plus, of course, there are all the raising your hands and 1, 2, 3s and counting down and all the technical discipline tricks you can use. But like I say, they're all on the Genki English website as well. Just do a quick search with the AI bot over there on discipline, and it'll give you some stuff. Good. Good. Do you sing along with the songs yourself? It looks like in the videos you're not actually singing. So I don't. Well, I mean, yeah, I write all the GenkiEnglish songs. I mean, you can't see all my keyboards and things. I've got like, this is actually my studio. There's my drum machine behind me there. You can see there and stuff. So I write all the GenkiEnglish songs, and obviously I sing quite a few of them. But actually in class I tend not to sing it just because it gives my voice a rest. So it's a good thing. So, but the kids have sort of got to see you can sing it and you're willing to sing it, yeah. But I don't go over the top with loud voices and things because the kids are always loud. That was the next question. Yeah, the kids are always louder than me, so I can take a bit of a break, which is cool. But in the beginning, you might need to sing along with it, yeah. But also make sure the kids are listening to the pronunciation and things on the song, yeah. Because the whole point of having music and the computers with the flashcards that talk is that the kids hear all these different intonations from around the world and don't just copy one teacher's pronunciation. Yeah, because as much as I love every kid in the world to speak fluently Yorkshire, it's not very good. They've got to learn lots of different accents, even though Yorkshire is the best. Good. Do you let parents sit in on lessons? We had this yesterday. Yeah, got to be open. Some of the best schools I've seen around the world, when I've been traveling around doing workshops, are where they have big windows where the parents can see in and anybody can see in. And that transparency and that keeping you on your toes is really, really good because the kids know it, you know it, so it reduces a lot of the bad behavior. And if parents are coming in there, that's cool. The only rule I have is that if a parent's in the classroom, and especially like if it's demo lessons, yeah, like if we're doing a demo session and the parents are just watching to see if it's any good or not, then always the same rules apply to the parents as they do to the kids. So it's respect everybody, tell me when you don't understand, and the parents have to join in as well. So make sure the parents know if they come into your class, they can come in anytime they want, if you're okay with that, and just make sure they follow the rules and they become like all the other kids. Now, sometimes parents do take advantage of that. And like, for example, if you're charging really cheap amounts, parents think they can come in and they get free English lessons. So you have to sometimes watch that because you always have this balance if you're doing private lessons, yeah, between what you don't want is to have cheap prices and then the parents look at you and go, ooh, cheap babysitting. Yeah, I'll dump the kids off there, won't do any homework or support at home, and the teachers just look after them while they go to the supermarket. You don't really want that because they're not the most motivated parents, and it needs to be you, the parents, and the kids working together, yeah? But equally, sometimes, it doesn't happen as often, but sometimes you can have it where the parents come to the lessons and they go, well, actually, I'm learning lots here. I'm going to come every lesson and join with my kid. And then they're sort of getting 2 for 1. So you might have to adjust your prices and things for that to make a difference. And like, for example, if you're doing, like a lot of teachers, if you're full up on an evening and you can't fit any more evening slots in, if you want to do something in the mornings, then you can do mummy and me classes where you teach the mums and the kids. And of course you price that according to, because the mums are also learning English as well, not just the kids, yeah. But yeah, that's good. Do you ever skip the song and go straight to the game? No, because it kind of defeats the purpose. The song, the GenkiEnglish song, if you look through the lives on the channel here, you can see lots of the GenkiEnglish songs. The whole point of the song is to review the lesson in 1 minute. And if you take that away, it becomes a lot harder to review and a lot harder to stick in your head. And especially if you go straight into the game and you've only done, say, flashcards or something, then it's really difficult for the kids to remember all the words and all the phrases to be able to speak them fluently in the game. So the song is really important in that, because if you look at the GenkiEnglish songs, questions are the base, because kids and, well, adults, communication is all about questions. Unless you're the CIA, they do it in a different way, but maybe that's a topic for another live. But questions are the most important thing for communication. So in the GenkiEnglish songs, you sing the question like 16, 32, sometimes 64 times. So if you've sung out loud that English question 64 or 32 times, that gets really stuck in your head. And then when you come to do the game and do the independent, having to think of it in the right order and respond in the correct way, then that's already ingrained in your brain. Therefore, it becomes a lot easier. If you don't do the song, or you're not teaching GenkiEnglish and you're not using songs, then it becomes a lot more difficult. Okay, but yeah, make sure the song is actually themed to, like, look at all my CDs there. Those are all the GenkiEnglish CDs. We've got so many. 25 years of work. Each song only has today's target English in it, so it's quite simple. But you really need it, yeah. I don't think I've ever. When I'm writing the songs, sometimes when I come up with a new song, sometimes they fail and the kids don't like them. But we fix them and redo them and redo them, and so we go for a 99% success rate. So when you're teaching Genki English, it's 99% of times, 99 classes out of 100 will work fine. You always get a 1%. It's probably less than 1%, but you always get a 1% that doesn't work. But majority of cases, it does work. Good. Have you ever had tech fail in the middle of class? Yes, tech fails all the time. Always have backups. So know what you can do in case your computer dies or something. Try not to use the internet live in class. I know a lot of teachers use YouTube and things like that, and then strange adverts pop up and things like that. So try not to use the live internet in class. The Genki English teacher set is all downloadable, so it's all on your computer, so you can do it that way. And so you don't get any dodgy adverts and things popping up. And if the tech does fail, you can just have a few backup things in mind, like a few backup games, review games. Like if it goes down, you go, oh, whoops, okay, let's go and review what we've done so far and play one of the review games. And we've got quite a few of those on the Genki English website again. Just search for review games. There we go. Cool. Do you think 30 minutes is long enough for a lesson? Yeah, it can be. If you do 30 minutes once a week plus 5 minutes review at home, that works great. You get great results, yeah. Usually I say 45 minutes for a lesson because that gives everybody, even beginner teachers, a chance to do a really great lesson, yeah. If you're a beginner teacher, 30 minutes can be a bit tough, yeah. Once you've got some experience, it's quite easy, but you can do 30 minutes. Usually I do 45 minutes, and it's one of the things, there's not much about compulsory education that's actually good these days because it was based on, the factory education system from before. But one of the good things they do have is that you have these like 45 minutes and 10-minute breaks, or 50 minutes and a 10-minute break. And if you're teaching privately as well, I would tend to go for that. Do 45 minutes and then a 15-minute break. Excuse me. And those breaks in between are really important because that's when you can chat to the kids and you can chat to the parents. And that's, if there's any problems at your school, you can pick it up in those break times because the kids will be honest with you and say, look, I didn't understand anything there, or this is all going too fast, I don't understand it, or, well, you're giving me too much homework, or whatever it is. Or the parents might say, oh, we'd love to come, but we can't just keep this time going. Or I want to invite my friends to a class, but you're full. Can you start another class or whatever? But that chatting time is really great. So 45 minutes, 15-minute break, and then you can start each lesson on the hour. I think that works really well. But if you want to do 30 minutes lessons, do it. 30 minutes plus 5 minutes a day. That's going to be the key. Otherwise, they won't make progress. If you do 30 minutes once a week, that's not going to do anything at all. Imagine if you're trying to learn guitar or taekwondo or something, and you only do 30 minutes a week, you're not going to get very good. Okay, we've got questions here. Those of you watching live, if you've got questions as well, put them in, and they should show up here or there, whichever screen they're going to show up on. I've lost where I am now. Do you give prizes or rewards in your lessons? We do have some. We have some avatars. If you look where the kids evolve, the kids don't evolve. The avatars evolve. We start off with Baby Monkey. It doesn't look like that. We start with Baby Monkey, and he gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And we have for Christmas, we have a Baby Santa Claus that gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So we have those which are quite good. Usually you want to go for intrinsic motivation. You just want the lessons to be so good that the kids want to learn, even if they don't have any prizes. It's usually the best way. And with the games, when they're competing against each other, remember, competition means conspire with someone. It's you set some rules and say, okay, we want to test our abilities, yeah? Like football, yeah? It's an English game, football, same thing. You just set some rules and you say, we're going to test our abilities against each other. Who's better at football, me or you? These are the boundaries that we've got here, and we're going to play inside those boundaries. That's the definition of a game, yeah? You're conspiring together, competition. So usually when you got that competition in the game, that's good enough as well. Just the fact you've won, you can go, yay! It's good. And then for the losers, you just say, what does losing mean? And they go, try again! And of course, that's why the second lesson of Genki English is losing means try again. We do rock, paper, scissors. But as you can try today, I'm just going through some quick fire questions, just because I'm not used to YouTube lives yet. I don't know what you guys want. You have to let me know. But if you look on the Genki English website, there are a lot more in-depth videos for each lesson, so you can actually see the reasoning behind things, why we do things. and all that sort of cool, funky stuff is on the Genki English website. Yeah. Today I'm just going to go through some quick questions because I only want to be on half an hour or so. We've got 20 minutes already. Blimey. Okay. Next questions. Oh, we had these yesterday. Do your kids play the same? Oh, that's from yesterday. That's from yesterday. Do you let kids bring their own ideas for games? Yeah, of course. Yeah, if kids, and I'm always looking at the kids, like when they're playing games in their breaks. Like we've got the leapfrog game in Genki English. I can't explain it. I can't. Look on the website. Genki English, the leapfrog game. It was really good. Because my kids are playing it in the playground. I thought it was cool. We've got like the countries game that was inspired by kids playing top trumps. We've got like kids are playing Uno, so we could use that to make some cards up that had not just colours and numbers, but for example, family members and rooms of the house, and make a sort of version of that. It's called Crazy Eights is the original version of Uno, yeah. So we can make a Crazy Eight style game with that, which is cool. So yeah, the kids inspire me more than bring their own ideas, yeah. Which is good. Do shy kids learn faster in groups or alone? Oh, blimey, that's not a quick fire question. That's a complicated one. So first of all, define shyness. So shyness is a measure of the degree to which you can communicate. Because if you're shy, you can't communicate with a lot of people. If you're not shy, you can communicate with everybody. Okay, so shyness is just a level of your communication skills, and what we're teaching is communication skills. So the whole point of our lessons is to make the shy kids not shy anymore. Okay, and remember, shyness isn't an inbuilt characteristic. Yeah, it's different to being an introvert. Yeah, so if you're an introvert, that means you get your energy from the time on your own, and it costs you energy when you spend your time with other people. And extrovert is the opposite. When they're on their own, they lose energy. And when they're in a room full of other people, they get super energetic and things, yeah? So like for me doing this live now, I'm here on my own. I can't see you guys. So even though I'm an introvert, it's actually quite difficult. But if I'm actually doing, like having to talk to people in a social setting, then I lose all my energy. But anyway, so do shy kids learn faster in groups or alone? I would suggest, and I'm not 100% on this. Most things I can give you a 100% answer based on experience, but this is a suggestion that maybe they learn better in groups as long as you've got your group knowing that they're all superheroes and they're all working together as a superhero team. And their job, every member of the group's job is not just to progress with their own English, but to help everybody else and to create the environment where everybody else in the class can learn as well. Now, if you're teaching in a really rough, dodgy, violent area, like where I grew up now, I really would not, where I grew up before, I wouldn't particularly want to be teaching there because if you start doing things like that, it tends not to work. Now, it can work if you're really, really, really good in those places. But in most schools, you really want to be going, especially if you've got control of who comes into your class and what sort of people join your class and how they fit with your personality and things. Because you know, if you're super Genki and you're like, yay, and they're saying, no, I want the Oxford research on this into the before I say a word, then it's different. So if people are on your wavelength and you say, look, if you enjoy me and you enjoy these lessons and you enjoy having fun and you want to get great results, then one of the key things is we all do this together. We're all in a class together for this whole year. So everybody's job is to make yourself super amazing at English and create the environment where everybody else is. And I think if you can create that environment, I think shy kids will do better. Because if you're teaching them on their own, they're not getting practice at communicating. And shyness is just the level at which you can communicate. So I think groups are better. But let me know if you disagree. I'm quite happy to... I'm always learning as well. So, I mean, I've probably taught English in more countries than, I don't think I've ever met anyone who's taught in more countries than me. Oh, I do. Yeah, maybe one or two people, that's all. I mean, I've taught countries all around the world, in English and all around the world, and done workshops all around the place. So I've got quite a bit of experience with it, but I'm still learning all the time, yeah? There's still always new things, and especially with AI, and, you know, after COVID, everything's changed. So everything we were doing in 2019 is almost the same as what we're doing now, but it's totally different, if that makes any sense. So it's almost like it's like the history repeat. History doesn't rhyme. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. Yeah. So things are always changing, and so it's always good to be learning. There's a good thing I saw the other day, and it was saying that like a learner doesn't have to be a teacher, but a teacher always has to be a learner. I like that. That's good. Good. Okay. Do you think parents care more about fun or results? Results. Yeah, fun with no results. You might as well buy a PlayStation. Yeah. So parents care about the results. And if you can get results while having fun, you might as well do it because it's more fun. People learn more, especially with languages. The biggest hindrance to languages is stress. And when people are stressed, they've got all these barriers, they've got all this cortisol, they've got this, they're all in, and it's really difficult to learn and take things in when you're stressed. But if you're relaxed, you're having fun, you're running around, you're playing games, you're using physicality, you've got music in there, it's a community, you've got a class to support you, a teacher who's working together with the parents and the kids, and you've got this awesome environment and no stress, and you're having fun, that becomes a lot easier to learn. It's like with the whole idea of flow. Is that like, say for example, I'm on my drum machine there. Some days I can just play stuff and nothing works. And I'm like, ugh. And then some days you just play it and just, oh, blimey, what's going on here? And you can just come up with cool stuff and you're in this flow state because it's super fun and Genki. And that's what we want. We want the kids to be in flow state when they're learning. And the flow state just means it's so much fun, you don't want to stop. So there we go. So do you think parents care about more fun or results? Results. But if you make it fun, might as well make it fun. Do you let kids use phones or tablets in class? Oh, that's a tricky one, isn't it? Usually in GenkiEnglish, I use the computer at the front, and then the kids are speaking to each other in the games. So there isn't really sort of time to use the phones and things. I think in other subjects, definitely you should use phones, but not social media. Yeah. Mobile phones are amazing for kids. Social media is horrible for everybody, not just kids. I'm saying this on a social media channel. They're gonna ban me, aren't they? But yeah, I mean, and always make sure, you know, if you've got kids with phones or your own phone, make sure you switch off all the notifications and all that stuff. Your phones are one of the most. They're a miracle of the 21st century because phones have got maps of everywhere in the world, every song ever written, every piece of music ever written. You can communicate with anyone in the world. Is all these amazing, cool things. Unfortunately, social media have monetized and dopamined it out of existence. So yeah, so usually you don't get time. The only time I do use it is, for example, if we've got like higher level kids and we're doing things like weather stuff, and so we're practicing weather and countries, and you say, so what's the weather like in? We have these maps of the world, and we get them to write down what they think the weather is going to be like in 5 different countries or 5 different cities. Yeah. So it's great because you're saying what's weather's quite easy. So it's more of a guess, but temperatures it's more varied. So you know, Dubai. What's the weather like in Dubai? Do you think? And they go, okay, well, what's the weather like in Peru? And they go, well, I don't know. Where is Peru? And so we have to look and find out where Peru is. Or if they're talking about you know, like really cold countries or really hot countries, learn about seasons. Like if it's the middle of winter and you say, what's the weather like in Australia? They go, oh, is it snowy and it's 10 degrees? And you go, no, it's the middle of summer, and they freaked out. But you can use phones because the individual groups then can look up what they've done for each city and see if they got it right, and they get more points. There's tons of cool stuff you can do with phones, but get rid of the social media. That's my point on that. Good. Do I ever teach one-on-one with GenkiEnglish? Not anymore. I don't get time. I do one-on-one coaching with the Genki Business course. I just started that this year because so the Genki Business course is like if you're a school owner and you want to learn how to increase your income and learn all the business skills. I used to teach that in a group, which was really good, but I found that I wasn't doing it live. I wasn't getting all the one-on-one side chats in the lunch times and things like that. So I've done a few. I've got a few slots open for one-on-one for the Genki Business group. If you want to get business coaching like that, usually I just teach in groups. If I taught one-on-one, it'd take me forever. I mean, that's the reason I started GenkiEnglish in the beginning, because my teaching contract was coming up to an end, and I'd collected all these amazing games. I'd written all these songs. We got these great results for the kids in my school, and I was like, cool. You know, my thing was like my school for me was really boring. Yeah, we had some great teachers, but most of them, you know, my high school was built in 1612, and I think some of the teachers were sort of probably there at that time as well. And so I thought, no, school is so important. We've got to make school fun and exciting. Yes, So when I was doing Genki English, then I was teaching 40 kids in a class, and I had like, I don't know how many classes did I have? I don't know, 10 classes? Well, every day except Friday afternoon. So I was teaching a few hundred kids. I was like, that's only a few hundred kids a year. And I was like, well, can I do shows and I can teach like 1,000 kids at once, and then then they can use the software and things afterwards to help practice. And I thought that was cool. But then I was realizing, well, even if I teach 1,000 kids a day, that's like, it's going to take me 3 years to reach 1 million kids. There's like 1 billion kids in the world. I'm never going to be able to teach them. So that's why I started Genki English and doing all my teaching resources online for teachers. And like this live now is, I know it's a lot of you are learners on here today, but helping mainly teachers out because I want to help more people. Yeah. So I wouldn't have time to do one-on-one, but yeah, there we go. Good. Do you ever get kids to make up their own English stories? Yeah, all the time. We actually have a story writing course. I would love to have more. So these, I don't see these books here. These are my picture books. These are all books I've written. I didn't write those, but I did write all of these here, all those picture books. And so stories are amazing. And if you can get kids to make up stories earlier on, it's great. I haven't found a way to do it right at the beginning of the curriculum, but for B1, B2 level students, we do have a Genki English, Genki storytelling course. It's Genki storytelling, Genki story writing. We sort of teach writing through stories, yeah? So making up their own stories is brilliant. Now, I'm sure there's a way of getting stories earlier into the curriculum, but like writing stories with controlled English is so difficult. Like we've got 12 books hardback there, and there's about another 20, 30 in the Genki English software. It's really hard. So if kids can make up their own stories using the Genki English language, it's brilliant. But don't expect it because it's quite a hard thing. But when they go into B1, B2, yeah, use the Genki storytelling course. It works great. Cool. Do you think kids learn more from speaking or listening? You need both. Well, you need both. So you've got to have lots and lots of input and then the output. So if you try and speak without listening, well, it's impossible because you've got no build. It's like trying to build Lego with no Lego blocks. Yeah, you need the listening to put all the Lego blocks in your brain, and then the speaking is you recombining those in different ways. Yeah, so I think you need more. But I think in general we need more speaking because kids can get listening anywhere, and especially with AI now. A lot of kids are using AI to learn languages, and so what is the point of an English class with an English teacher? It's for the speaking, and then the teacher can give feedback, and it's like when you're doing yoga, yeah. When you're doing yoga, you think you're doing a downward dog, and then the yoga teacher comes and goes, no, it's like this, cracks all your back and everything. So the point of the English teacher, the English classroom, is to correct the mistakes you don't know yourself, yeah. So you're speaking and you're making mistakes, you don't realize it, and the AI probably can't pick that up yet, but the English teacher can, yeah. So in the classroom, speaking, I think, is the most important, the best use of your time, and then the listening, the kids can do it anywhere on any device, anywhere. Good. Do you ever have to invent a game on the spot? No, I wouldn't. I'm sure most know what it's like. If you invent a game on the spot, it's very likely your kids are smart. They're going to find a hole in the rules somewhere, or it's going to have the law of unintended consequences. Yeah. So I tend not to. But there's so many games on the Genki English site. Just again, search for games. There's loads of them. Have you ever taught with any materials at all? Yeah, all the time. Yeah, when I used to we were once in Thailand, trying to build a library, and I've forgotten which project it was now. But we were building a library, so we were all helping out building a library. And of course, all the local kids, a lot of foreigners volunteering for it. All the local kids came up and they're all, boo, and all the experienced bricklayers were like, just get rid of these kids and just get in our way. And other teachers were like, no, they should help. And they go, no, they're not helping. They're just going to get in the way. Can you do something with them for an hour or so? So we're like, okay. So we just took all the kids off into the field next door and just started doing lots of games and running up and down TPR, actions, gestures, things like that. So you can teach without any materials. The whole point of teaching materials just to make your life easier. So yeah, you can teach English from 0 up to really high levels with nothing at all, because you've got it all in your brain. You just have to teach it to the kids. Yeah, it's like teaching kung fu or something. You've got it in your brain. You've got to teach it to the kids. Yeah. But the whole point of materials, like if you buy the Genki English Teacher set or the CD, well, we don't have CDs anymore. They're all in the download set. But if you have the materials, this makes your life easier. The idea is you don't have to. I spent 25 years making the Genki English curriculum and speaking to thousands of teachers around the world and having lunch with hundreds of kids and listening to what they speak and teaching every lesson myself as well. And then trying to, how to improve it and stuff like that. So the whole point of teaching materials is just to save you time. So it means you don't have to do everything from scratch. You don't have to spend, we reckon the Genki English Teacher set is like $500, but it saves you about $2,000 worth of time every year just because the ideas are already done for you. And they're probably better, they're definitely better ideas you could come up on your own, because I couldn't come up with them on my own. I had to have lots and lots of other teachers helping me refine them and things like that. So yeah, so you can teach without materials, but the materials are there. Good materials are there to make your life easier. Cool, blimey, we're over the 35 minutes already. Okay, if any of you watching live, we've got lots of people watching live now. Wow, okay, brilliant. Thank you. If those of you watching live, if you have questions, put them in the chat very quickly, because I'm going to finish in a minute. I've got so many other questions over here. Yeah, if you've got live ones, I'll try and answer those now. If not, I think I'll have to do another live next week or something. Yeah, okay, but I hope that helped you. I say I'll try and do another one next week or something. You can always email me. Basically, kids around the world want amazing lessons. Parents want amazing lessons. Most kids still have boring lessons. We want them to have Genki, which means fun, exciting, full of life. The whole point is we want kids to come out of your lesson going, wow, that was the best lesson this week. Wow, that was the best teacher ever. And then they go and tell other friends. You get loads of students. Kids get better results. And then they can go on and learn about genetic engineering or AI or what other important skills, finances, what other important skills they've got to learn at as well, because the English is done and they can speak it confidently and they can communicate with everybody. And then that helps them make their dreams come true and to a bigger scale. Because one of yesterday we had, why do we learn English? You learn English for most kids because if you've got a dream, and all kids have a dream, at 7 or 8 years old, they have a dream of something they want to do. Might be being a YouTuber, or it might be going to the moon, or it might be being a lighting engineer or an artist or a nurse or a pharmacist or whatever it is. Kids have got dreams. And in this world right now, if you do your dream and you don't speak English, it's a lot more difficult, because if you don't speak English, all this free information on YouTube and on the internet and everything isn't available to you. But if you do speak English, you can listen to all the best experts in the world, and even really, even if you're into skateboarding or something like that, yeah, you can listen to everybody in the world who speaks in English and puts things in English and learn that way. So you learn a lot more fast, a lot more quickly. And then when you come to do your job or whatever it is when you do, when you want to be a footballer or a musician or an engineer or a scientist or whatever it is, when you come to do your job, if you speak English, you can communicate with more people, get your thoughts, your ideas, your imagination, your dreams out into the world without needing translators and interpreters and things like that. You can do it directly from your own brain and communicate with other people, plus listen directly to how people talk to you. So that's one of the main reasons we want to teach English and get it done quickly and fun and not boring, in fun ways. The kids love it and they're enthusiastic to do more and more and more and more and more, because it helps their dreams come true. And then hopefully you as a teacher, part of your dreams is to help more kids, so that helps your dreams come true too. There we go. So I'm Richard from Genki English. Genki there. So enjoy yourselves. Let me know, likes or whatever, or comments if you liked it. If you didn't like it, send me an email. Let me know what I can change, what I can do better. If I need to talk more slowly or whatever. And I'll see you later. Check out more on the Genki English website or the videos on the channel here. There's like loads and loads of videos on the channel here. So there we go. Enjoy yourselves. Be Genki. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.